Hey y'all, Tyborg here. Today is finally the day. The changes that the devs have been working on for 3-4 months, I don't know, since June, have dropped in live. I just ran 4 fights, I think. I'm going to walk you through the patch notes, tell you what's new, and then show you some highlights from those fights. Spoiler alert, the changes are incredible. Some of you may already know most of these changes because I've been talking about them on previous videos. They've been in the PTC, the private test channel, but they are coming to live. A lot of you are going to be seeing them for the very first time. So I'm going to read through these patch notes, go over what the things in these patch notes mean, what they mean for you, how they affect the game. And then I'm going to jump over and you're going to see some footage from my fights. I didn't have my phone today. It was dead, so there's no side-by-side like my other videos. You can just, pretend that you can see me. But otherwise, you're just going to get the first-person cam for this. All right, so we're going to jump in. Patch highlights. We're going to look at this bullet list. All right, so the first thing is the body effort system. So I talked about this and showed this off in the last video about PTC. You can go back and watch that if you want to see it in detail. But basically, the game is now doing some really clever things to try to tell if you are actually putting body effort into the punch. If you are rotating with all your weight and throwing your weight behind the punch versus just flicking your arm out and doing this thing like all the spammy kids were doing before. So, that is an enormous change because what I'm experiencing is that I'm now hitting a lot harder, throwing relatively good form punches very hard with all of my effort versus people who just go left, right with their arms like this as fast as they can. So, huge, enormous change. And the thing you need to know about this, if you didn't see my other video, there is a new sound, and actually, before I go back to the patch notes, I need to just show it to you so everybody knows what this is. Hear that? That means you're getting the body effort. And you need the body effort if you want to get high damage. Alright? So you hear that? Listen for that. If you're not getting that, the game does not think that you are hitting hard. So, that's body effort. This is the biggest change. It's enormous, guys. It makes all the difference in the world. Next up, arm structure. This is just some fancy physics logic about determining how hard you should hit based on like how structured your arm, how much your arm is going into the punch, I guess. Seems to work. I don't understand it that well, but the damage seems fairer, so it must be working. Move-in system improved. So remember, there was this big bonus for a punch hitting you as you're moving into it, and a huge debuff protection if you're moving away from the punch. That has been kind of toned down from where it was before, so that it's not sort of like an automatic stun. And it's meant to be more fair as far as like if you're actually moving directly into a punch versus like you're rolling with your hands up and it's coming around and hitting you on the side of the head. So this feels a lot fairer too. I'm not noticing myself just randomly get stunned if someone gets real close and I happen to be turning in the same direction or they're throwing this little arm stuff. Okay? Big change. This one's maybe as big or bigger than the body effort. Improved blocking and larger gloves. So you'll see gloves are much bigger now. They're more like realistically large for a glove you would wear in a boxing match, which means you can block more because they cover way more surface area, right? But also there's this sort of partial blocking. Soft blocking is what they're calling it. So basically anything that's real close to your guard, because of the imperfections of tracking, blocking has always been super unreliable. But now, if something's very, very close to your guard and grazing it, you get partial credit. Doesn't do full damage. Makes a massive difference as far as if you're being defensively responsive. When you see the punches coming, you're trying to block them, you're getting a lot of these green, yellow, and aqua colors showing that you're not taking full damage. Next, they removed the stance system, which is basically was like a counterpunch kind of thing where if you were punching, you went into aggressive stance, it's called, which made you like take super more damage and you just get auto stunned if you got hit. That's gone, which I think makes things feel way fairer, because before you could throw a jab and somebody would just eat it and walk through and then hit you, and you're in aggressive stance and you get stunned. Felt horrible. This is my massive change. Changes the game feel hugely. Removed body stuns. We all know heads down was the meta. That's gone. So now if you hit a very, very hard hit to the body, your opponent's going to see a big punishment damage. Like their vision narrows super hard for a second, and then it recovers super duper quick. So there's a really tight window to then capitalize on that. But it doesn't just flash you and make you blind because you took a hit to the body, which is great. Awesome. That's what this is talking about, the vignette effect and the grunt. Punishment system, there's short-term, long-term punishment. Long-term is going to accumulate over the fight, so if you're really pouring it on somebody, eventually you're going to get those knockdowns, because then they take more damage, more short-term punishment, easier stuns, that type of thing. And then the short-term punishment is like, we've seen it in earlier damage systems where the screen starts to narrow as you're taking like bop, 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 and then eventually that leads to a knockdown. So these systems together mean that if you're winning exchanges over and over again, you hit, roll, hit, slip, hit, they start taking more and more punishment, and eventually you drop them. It's great. Reduced anti-spam, that's good. Anti-spam was not well designed. Stun reduction. Stuns are not like you're blind for a minute and a half running around like a chicken with your head cut off trying to survive. Fantastic. And then joystick, reduced acceleration while punching on joystick, which I don't play joystick, but I'm glad to hear that, because you should not be able to run and punch. So that is basically it. There's also some new audio tweaks to the punch sounds. There's now exhalation sounds for both you and your opponents. You hear the oos, 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 oos as you're throwing, as they're throwing. It's very cool. And you hear it more like ugh when you're landing hard on somebody else. All of these changes together change the game completely. And you'll see that in my fights. I'm not getting randomly white flash left and right. We're boxing. You'll see I had a fight against someone who was boxing very clean and very slick. And I felt like I was boxing pretty clean and slick, and you'll see that in the footage, hopefully. And I had another fight against somebody who was much higher rating from the before system, who was fighting a lot more left, right, left, right, left, right. And I felt like I got a much better and more difficult fight in this system from the better boxer. So that's great. Let's go ahead and jump right into it.
Let's fight. Box on.
All right, one fight down. And I think you'll see that is incredible. He was kind of spammy. When he attacked, it would be like do 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 do. And I could block, 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 block. Did basically nothing to me. I could land big, heavy combos and then take him down. That would have been an even matchup before this update. We were both 2400, and it was not particularly close. He quit, right? So let's go ahead and jump back in and see if we can find another good match. So here's the deal, y'all. You really have to punch right now. There are some ways to still kind of fake the body effort, but they're hard to do.
10 seconds out.
Especially consistently. Just
Okay,
do
get ready.
the
Let's
real
go.
effort in your punches and you'll be good to go. This guy's got great defense. So do I. This guy's good, though. This is fun.
Okay,
This is
ready?
how the game is meant to be played, y'all. Watch this chess match. Oh, nice. Nice.
Fight. Time out. Let's fight. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner is the blue corner.